close-up of the lower body of the car. Has white staining throughout. As you guys can see, this is the front spoiler lip all the way through. It's very bad over here. So I'm just going to show you the white discolored ABS plastic throughout the car. It's everywhere, all the way on the bottom. I don't know who attempted to wax it, but I know it wasn't my client. He probably brought it somewhere, and that's the sloppy job that they did. You can see that there. And then more white residue down here. This is really, really bad. Now I have a couple of tips that I'm going to show you guys, and if it doesn't work, I'm going to mask up the car and I'm going to actually respray it. And that could be a good tip for some of you guys that are struggling, especially you detailers, to get this thing sorted out on a lot of customers' cars. But I mean, this is pretty bad. Ordinarily, I would pull the bumper off. If this was an exotic car and I was getting paid a hell of a lot of money for it, I would just pull the bumper off, throw it in the booth, and respray the whole piece and put it back on the car, and it's done. I wouldn't even waste my time trying to clean that. I just prep it, and that's what I would do. But I'm going to show you guys a little trick. There's two ways we could take this off. We would use a chemical called MEK with a very firm bristle brush, and that kind of like reactivates the resins in the plastic, and you can kind of blend it in. That's usually the last resort. The final resort, if you can't get it out using any of these methods, you would just pop this piece off and then respray it with the satin trim black with a plastic type of paint. And you could buy that from SEM. SEM Automotive makes that. So I'm going to show you guys a quick trick. We hope it works. So this little tip, I learned this when I was a teenager. The guy showed me at a body shop, a little old Italian guy. This is just an old pencil eraser that I keep in my bin. This thing is probably over 20 years old. It's a little rigid. I probably should replace this. So what I'm going to do is I got some VO7 and a new PFM microfiber. You're just going to take the eraser and rub over the residue carefully. Hit it with a little VO7, and that actually worked. So we're not going to have to use the MEK cleaning this bumper up. Let me just move the camera. I'll show you a couple of more spots. Okay, right here, this is loaded. And this eraser is so old, but it actually still works. You can see how soft it is. And that's it. It gets that white residue right out. Now, if the eraser trick doesn't work, use MEK, mask up the car, put on gloves, and go in there with a bristle brush very firmly. And if that doesn't work, then the last resort is respraying the plastic. So it really depends on what is on the plastic, because sometimes it may not be wax, it might be something else. Yeah, this thing is covered all the way through. You guys can probably see that right there. And you see some of this is not coming off. That's where we're going to have to use the chemical. So use the eraser best as you can, and I'm going to go grab a chemical right now to try to get all of this off right there. So this right here is a plastic prep, and we got that out. So whatever you're seeing in the camera is just a reflection from the sun, but we got that out. So see, I'm covering the sun right now. It's all gone. So like I said, the eraser didn't work here, it worked everywhere else. So that's why it's good to have a couple of tricks in your up your sleeve to get this stuff done. Otherwise, you're gonna pull your hair out. We're gonna move over to the front. There at the driver's side rocker panel, there was a couple of marks that I got off with the eraser. It's not so bad. And the VO7 works outstanding on the plastic trim. You don't want to use a thick tire dressing or anything like that with silicone. It's just going to attract dirt and most likely discolor your plastic. The VO7 cleans it and Gives it a nice satin finish, and it actually gives you some protection, which is what you guys want. So the front bumper's got a lot of marring on it. Go over that with the eraser. V07. And that's it, it's perfect. You guys can see it in the camera. This is real time. Now look at this. Let me see if I can get the camera in on that. Okay, you see that? That's actually pretty bad. So we're going to use the eraser. Little old eraser. Still works. Man. Okay. And then we're going to hit it again. The Sherwin-Williams plastic prep. And that solves that problem. So, if you guys have a local Sherwin-Williams automotive near you, you could pick that product up. It is part number SC160. This stuff is outstanding, but it stinks really bad, just FYI. But when you're doing trim work, this is probably worth having in your detailing arsenal. Because a lot of that stuff, those cheap stuff you get at the auto parts stores, that doesn't work. That doesn't work at all. Another spot there. Another spot. We got even in here. I don't know who waxed this car, but they didn't take their time doing it. That's really the difference between a good detail shop and a bad detail shop, is the time you spend doing stuff like this. All in the final details. That's going to make your job stand out from everyone else. And always take pride in everything that you do. That's the way I do everything. And I treat every car I work on as if it's my own, because my name is behind everything that I touch. No matter whether it's detailing, manufacturing, designing, you name it. You got to be proud of what you do. It's the most important thing in life. Because there's too many people that just do jobs just to collect a paycheck and get the job done as fast as possible, but they don't really put a lot of effort into it. So, you know, I'm spending almost an hour just going over the fine details on this car. And you can see here, this is pretty bad. Looks like I might need a new eraser sometime soon. But I don't usually have this problem because cars that I work on, I'm very careful on my personal cars. And if it's a customer's car that I've worked on from day one, then, you know, this usually isn't ever, I never pull this eraser out. This thing is probably 15 years old. I couldn't even imagine it's so old. That's why it's so soft and it's breaking apart, like I'm showing you, because rubber breaks down after 7+ years. Okay. We're gonna hit it with the V07. That's it. So I hope you guys learned a couple of tips here. If you guys don't know the eraser trick, I've known this since I was a teenager. I had a guy in a body shop show it to me because I always thought you needed some sort of like a paint thinner or lacquer thinner to reactivate the plastic, but you can use MEK. You can use the Sherwin-Williams plastic prep, which is a solvent-based plastic prep, and it works great. But start with the eraser first, guys, and pick these things up. Keep it in your toolbox. Can't go wrong. I'm going to finish up, and then I'll show you guys the car when it's all finished.